ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Shin here from Channel Madness, coming at you with a hopefully quick little video about, as you can maybe get out of it, guess, dinosaurs. Yay! I'm currently playing Jurassic World Evolution 2. This is my first actual play of it, so I will probably fumble around because I have no idea what I'm doing, but I just wanted a backdrop for the conversation piece I would like to have, because I want to talk about something that I'm encouraged to talk about. Not encouraged. Well, I am encouraged. I watched the Jurassic World Dominion trailer today, and I am excited, and it has motivated me to make this video. So I would like to make this video, and what it is about my experience with the Jurassic World / Park franchise, and why I love it, my problems with it, and yeah, my thoughts upon it. And in while I'm doing so, I'll just give you a little visual of what I am of me playing something Jurassic related. But I'll try and mostly focus on the conversation, so I wouldn't be too engrossed in the visuals, because I might just not do too much. But yeah, like I said, I watched the Jurassic World Dominion trailer that came out today. Saw it, watched it, was excited by it, have a lot of questions, a little bit of skeptic, and yeah, if we go, I'll quickly throw down what I consider my favorite movies, and then I'll talk about maybe why they are and whatnot, and then we'll go from there and see how the conversation goes. So at the top, my all-time favorite Jurassic Park movie, and all-time favorite movie of all time, is Jurassic Park, the original, the first, the thing that started it all. Yeah, I loved that first movie. And then after that, it would be close to a tie between Jurassic World, the first one, or Jurassic Park 3. I know that might be very controversial to a lot of people, and I might try and get around to explaining my thoughts on it. If you gun to my head and I have to pick one, I think I would prefer Jurassic Park 3. Yep, so I'm going to go Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 3, then Jurassic World, then The Lost World, and then Fallen Kingdom. I absolutely hate Fallen Kingdom. I think it is a horrible dog shit movie, but what can you do? So, yeah, starting with when I was young, I remember seeing that first Jurassic Park movie and just being so enraptured with what I saw that I just absolutely loved it and would watch it whenever I got a chance to watch it. I remember one of my strongest memories from my childhood was when I was sick from school, and I just spent the whole day rewatching VHS taped over version. If you're not sure what that is, it's rather than actually buying a VHS copy from like Blockbusters or hiring it, you could record old shows from the TV if you had a machine to record it, and we had that for Jurassic Park when it was on one year. We recorded it, and yeah, I remember rewatching it, and the thing that's notable about recordings is that those movies back then had ads, so every 10 minutes there was an ad that you would have to fast forward through. And I remember, I think I watched that movie like 3 times that day, one after another, fast forwarding through all the ads because I was sick. And then yeah, then came Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. I forgot what it was called. To be honest, for the longest period of time, I wasn't even aware that was a Jurassic Park movie. I just thought it was another dinosaur movie, a whole different franchise, because it was cool. Because it had Jurassic Park, and then I just saw the title Lost World. Didn't even notice the Jurassic Park in front of it. So I saw Jurassic Park and then Lost World, and I just thought, this is just another dinosaur movie, franchise movie that happens to have the same actor in there. I don't even think I clicked that it was Same. It was Ian Malcolm. Because I don't, to be honest, Ian Malcolm's not my favorite character. I actually don't really like him in Jurassic Park. It comes off as a bit of a chauvinistic prick to me, and yeah, not my biggest fan. I'm not his biggest fan, so I didn't pay much attention when I was younger. My opinions changed a little bit different now. Why I'm a lot more like, I enjoy him a lot more now when I go back and I see him and in the newer movies. But yeah, I'm just going to pause it here because I'm actually not doing anything and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to find something else to put on screen and then I will continue with my conversation. And hello, I am back. I've just switched over to God Simulator because it's a much more simple aesthetically. It's something on the background that, so there's something there that's not going to distract me too much because it doesn't require too much in order to play this. Yeah. Continuing on with the conversation, what I was talking about was obviously we had, after Jurassic Park, we had World, Jurassic Park Lost World. And I always have trouble remembering it, mostly because I didn't really care much for it. Not the biggest fan. I really liked the fact that they went back to, more dinosaurs, and then it was mostly Ian Malcolm focused story, and Ian was never really my favorite character, so I didn't really have that much interest. And the fact that it was like the whole section where it was a dinosaur running around the streets. Yeah, I think that's just why I didn't realize it was related to Jurassic Park until a lot longer when I was a lot older. I'm like, oh, it's actually the second movie of the franchise. Mostly because it didn't really have too much that connected it to the first, other than I say that, and anyone could come at me and be like, well, it had a lot to do connected to the first. I'm like, yeah, I suppose, but for me, not really. Like, it didn't have the characters I liked. It didn't even feature the same island. It didn't really feature the same sort of plot, a park or anything. And yes, I just didn't enjoy Lost World. When I go back and watch it now, I have a lot more fondness for it because I'm like, okay, I can see what they're going on, what they're doing. Which brings me to Jurassic World 3, a movie I loved so much more, and have much more pleasant experience. I remember I went to it's the only movie I've ever gone to the theatre to see 3 times. Not all at once. I remember one was for like a holiday program, like we had to go, a whole bunch of us got to go see it as a movie. It was one of the options we could go see. I think one of it was with parents, and I don't really remember what the third time was, but I do remember seeing it for a third time in a theatre. I think maybe it might have been with a family, friends, birthday or something. And I really enjoyed that movie. It reminded me so much more. So it was really much like the first one, or it had aspects I really enjoyed, and I'll try and tell you what those aspects are. I really like the idea of the going to sort of like the prehistoric land, or dropped into you know a situation that we're going to deal with, rather than bringing the dinosaurs out to deal with us. We have to go in to deal with them, and it's like we're put into this situation that we're not scripted for, and it involved my favorite character, Alan Grant, and yeah. And I understand, like, I know there's a lot of controversy. A lot of people think that Jurassic Park 3 is it's a bad movie. I've heard all the talk about people saying it's bad. Personally, I don't know why. I've avoided any sort of critiques on it, or anyone sort of no one's really come to tell me the reasons that it's bad. I'm sure there are reasons that people could pull out. I personally just don't really care. Yeah, I get the premise may not be the strongest, but what I wanted was just my favorite characters, back in a stranded situation, dealing with dinosaurs, and logically it's like, why would any of these characters want to go back to go deal with dinosaurs? And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care how they got there or why they're there. I just found it fun that, that they are there. And and that was the movie. God, that gave me a heart attack. What was that? A lightning strike somewhere. Anyway, that was the movie we got. That was the movie I really enjoyed, and it's probably why it's probably my second favorite Jurassic Park movie.
Gore, gore. Ah.
That's really loud. Can I turn you down? Okay. Following, and obviously after those. Okay, we'll just turn all sounds off. Obviously, following those three movies, that was the Jurassic Park franchise for a long time. I remember being younger in high school and, hearing rumors of a Jurassic Park 4, seeing the fake promos and trailers and things of that nature, and when you're younger you don't really pay too much attention. You're not really you know looking for sources or reliability. You're just like, oh cool, there's a picture of Jurassic Park 4 with concept art and whatnot. It wasn't until I was a lot older that I got like, yeah, some of these things may not be legit, but I remember having enthusiasm and really wanting such things to exist and whatnot. Then obviously there was a big Jurassic drought, obviously when it came to the movies, but we got we got some good games that I thoroughly enjoyed. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. Anyone who is familiar with obviously Jurassic World Evolution may have heard of that, because it was sort of the origins and the inspiration for such a game to begin with. I remember I played the shit out of that. I always went back and kept playing the shit out of it. I very much enjoyed that game, and yeah, that was probably the only Jurassic Park game I can think of. I remember there was a fighting game that my cousin had that we used to play when we got it, when we could. But other than that, I think Jurassic Park was my only real major game that I played. And then I remember finding out about Jurassic World, the first movie, the first one, and being so excited to finally get life back into this franchise that I was, that I wanted to go. I was just really happy. I was getting, another Jurassic Park movie. And then, as the trailers and the concepts and the ideas for what the movie was coming out, I'm like, it was literally another Jurassic Park, a theme park based around dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs get out. It was honest at the time. It was what I wanted. I want to say that it was exactly what I wanted, because at that point I didn't know what I wanted. But it was enough of what I wanted once I saw it. I'm like, I got what I got. I was extremely happy with. I really much enjoyed the movie, and it is probably a movie I can go back and watch and enjoy. Even though there are things in that movie that, now that I'm older, I can see that sort of, I can look at it and be like, that's really stupid. Claire and her high heels, and Claire's assistant, and there are things, the annoying kids. Yeah, there are things in that movie that I don't enjoy, but because I'm such a fan of the first movie and the premise as a whole, and there are enough things in the movie that I did enjoy, that it is still, I'm still a favorite. It's still a good movie to me. I'm not sure if it would be in like my top 5 movies, but it's definitely a movie that I thoroughly enjoy. And then we get to the black sheep, or the sour grape, the unfortunate mess that I would call is Fallen Kingdom. Now, I've restated that my least favorite of the Jurassic Park movies was The Lost World. I thought it was the weakest of the three, for personal subjective reasons. If You know, I'm sure someone can make an objective argument to why it's better than 3. Jurassic Park, The Lost World is better than 3, and they may be right, but subjectively to me, number 3 is the superior of the two. I did, and I do enjoy Lost World, but I just thought it was the weakest storyline, and I thought it was odd that it was less about the whole, surviving on the island park, or the priest, dealing with an unknown situation. It was odd to bring the dinosaurs out of that and put them into our situation for them to deal with. I wasn't much of a fan of that. And then we got Fallen Kingdom, which just did that again and did it worse. Like I remember after watching Jurassic World 1, being happy, moderately happy with that movie and being, satisfied enough. And then hearing about, doing another movie, I'm like, oh, I'm really cool about this. It's bringing more life into the Jurassic franchise. It's another Jurassic World, Park movie. It's another Jurassic movie. I didn't think that they were literally going to make another Lost World. Like, they were actually going. Yes, Jurassic World was just a retelling of Jurassic Park, of a modern remake, a soft reboot, as they say. I didn't think they were going to do that for the Lost World as well. I thought, after the first one, they were going to do, they're going to go on to their story and do whatever they did. But and sure, there are differences between the Fallen Kingdom and the Lost World. It's not a one-to-one match between the two. But there's a lot of similarities too. They take the dinosaurs and they put them into our society in some regard. Obviously, in Lost World, the island doesn't explode because now Isla Nuba, it's gone. It's obviously active volcano blew it up. I have a little bit issue with that, but it's their story. That's what they wanted to come up with. That's what they came up with. So Isla Nuba's gone. So no more of that. Which just, I think I'm taking more issue with that whole premise than I should do, because it's like when you got rid of like the historical starting point. It's gone now. And that's annoying. But I don't want to digress. So yeah, got rid of they bring the dinosaurs out, and then the whole point of bringing them into a society, into human society for us to deal with. Yeah, and I haven't even started talking about the whole, and I'm just excited about the whole dinosaur movies. I haven't even started my thoughts on the whole genetic modification, the Indoraptor, the Indorex. For the first Jurassic World, I managed to avoid most of the spoilers when it came to what the Indoraptor, the Indominus Rex was. Like in the trailers, I say that there's a new type of dinosaur in the Indorex, and I managed to avoid most spoilers of what that was. I think I tried to, at least. I got spoiled myself when I saw like a toy promo, and it actually had like a toy version of what the Indorex was before it was visually seen in any other trailers or the movie itself. So it was like, okay. And I wasn't too upset. I'm like, what? It's not a far-fetched for the concept of this this franchise is already established. Genetic modification on dinosaurs, when, yeah, sure, they've already been doing genetic stuff. Sure. And then I remember seeing the trailers and the highlights for the Fallen Kingdom, and then highlighting, they have been presenting the Indoraptor in this trailer. So I'm thinking, I remember thinking it's really weird for them to have like an Indoraptor already so close after the Indorex. Like, I don't know the gestation and growth time of these dinosaurs, and I know when we play the Jurassic Genesis or Evolution games, you can, it's one of the gimmicks or the research upgrades in order to speed up growth. So sure, but I just thought, like, Jurassic, at the end of Jurassic World 1, the park had just closed. The Indoraptor had just died. Sorry, the Endorex had just died, and at the start of, we already have a what I presume is a fully grown Indoraptor for the second movie. I'm like, how many years after the first movie this is supposed to be set after? Because I must have thought this must be like 10 or 15 years after for them to have an already, you know, ready to go out of the box genetically modified dinosaur based off the because I presumed at the time it was based off the Indo Rex, because the only other thing I assumed is that if it was not based off the Indo Rex, then they had already started a genetic another genetic hybrid project prior to the Indo Rex, which when thinking about it, they couldn't, because Doctor Wu, he didn't leave until the end of the first movie, so he couldn't, unless he was doing it in secret and he'd already planned an Indoraptor well before. That was the only way I could see that was the only way there could possibly be an Indoraptor so close to after already being an Indo-Rex, for me at least, without there being a huge time leap between the movies. And then that's the only thing I really thought before seeing the movies, or I had to sort of hypothesize with the trailers. And then once you saw the movies, yeah, I think there is a time skip. I don't really think they say how long. Well, they probably do say how long. I don't really remember how long, and it wasn't too much of an issue for me. Once I watched it, I'm like, oh, you know what? It seems like a reasonable amount of time for there. Because when you do see the park, it does look overgrown, run down, a few years worth of vegetation growing up, and everyone's moved on to do their own things. Owen's built a cabin. Claire's, now part of her little group trying to save dinosaurs and whatnot, and yeah, and then we move on to the volcano explosion. I'm like, okay, I already explained my issues about having destroying the island. I wish they didn't have to just destroy the island. Sure, create a natural disaster that required, I suppose, intervention, but I wouldn't have erased the whole thing. And maybe they haven't. Maybe they go back in Dominion, and part of the island's still there, or still around, or yeah, exactly that. The whole premise of trying to bring Claire and Owen in, and their two little sidekicks of trying to find the Blue, trying to take them back, and then trying to sell it. Like, I don't even want to talk about it because I just found the whole premise stupid, and yeah, I just really didn't enjoy it, and the whole subplot about the old guy that was friends with Hammond, the Hammond knockoff, and the daughter clone. I just didn't really care much for the whole Buffalo Bill being stupid to get the Indoraptor out. The whole Indoraptor in itself is the whole premise of trying to weaponize dinosaurs. Look, I'm not looking for a smart dinosaur movie, but do we have to have this sort of dinosaur movie? Like, this seems like a really stupid idea, and it seems like a really weak premise for the movie. I would have just liked another movie where they just go back to an island for whatever reason, like make a stupid reason to get them back to the island and have them deal with that, and I would have been much happier with that kind of movie. Instead we got The Lost World again, and I really did not like it, and I'm sure there are some people out there that really did like it, and I'm happy that you enjoyed it. I'm sorry, but I really don't like the Fallen Kingdom. I love Chris Pratt. I think he's one of my favorite actors of this current generation, mostly because I'm a really big fan of Parks and Rec. Claire was good. Solid performance. I'm glad she wasn't wearing heels, or at least I didn't see it this time. Notice it. And yeah, and then what started this whole video, this conversation, is obviously the Jurassic Dominion a trailer that came out today, and I watched it. And I'm talking about this will be the second, because this is obviously Friday, the 11th of February. So it'll be the second trailer, not the first long one where it has the T-Rex versus the Giga, and then the mosquito come in. This is the one where it's actually like the movie trailer, and it's got the the OG characters with the old school, the new generation characters, and they're trying to deal with dinosaurs in the world, and they're trying to deal with that. And I want to talk about my thoughts on that. So, my thoughts and ideas and premise of this new Dominion trailers. I'm excited, I'm happy, and I'm also very skeptical, because after this little rant about Fallen Kingdom, I'm now the dinosaurs, like, watching. I had the same sort of questions and theories and thoughts that I did when I saw the trailers for the Fallen Kingdom, because how much time has passed from the Fallen Kingdom to Dominion? Because the dinosaurs, we've seen Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs get outside the auction house. Yes, some one or two, and some were bought by a few entrepreneurs and were taken away. And then, but the majority of the ones we see, they just escape from this house. I don't know where it is. I can't bother to look it up, find out. And then from what we've seen in this trailer is that dinosaurs are everywhere. They're now part of the natural selection of the world. We have I don't want to say Pachysauruses. Patchies. No. I'm thinking Ark terms. I'm a big fan of Ark, and they just carry things. The ones that have Elvis heads. Anyway, you see those with a herd of horses. You see Blue's got a child. It just seems like there's just dinosaurs everywhere. I'm just like, how did this happen? Is this like a red gremlin thing where they touch water and they just spawn all over the place? I don't really know. But like my thoughts about the Fallen Kingdom. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna roll with it. This is the premise they're presenting. We'll roll and see where it goes. Maybe enough they're going to present a time skip where enough time has passed for it to make sense, or whatever. I presume, because we see a lot of different, what I'm going to say, raptor variants. And there's one we saw with a bunch of feathers that reminded me very much about one of the new dinosaurs in Ark, and not the actual Velociraptor in Ark. It's one of the smaller ones that has feathers. My thoughts on that is, I think the idea is it's just a genetic modification by another company. So somebody out, because there seems to be a lot of different variants of dinosaurs we've already know. Like, I think we saw Owen going through a town. We saw somebody going through a town, and there's a bunch of T-Rexes, and he's being chased by a bunch of raptors. And I have to presume that's just somebody fucked up and made a bunch of raptors, and they got out, and we saw the unique variant we saw with the feathered raptors. Same sort of premise. Somebody made a feathered raptor, and then we have a Giga walking around. I presume that's just like, it just seems to be like, what they did with the T-Rex and the Spinos. Like, we wanted something other than the T-Rex because we've already done the T-Rex, so we made something bigger, meaner, and cooler for all the to get the audiences hooked. And I guess they went with the Giga. And I'm not against that. It's fun. Yeah. I haven't seen. Obviously, the movie's not out yet, and my opinion might change. Like, I was a fan of the Spino and the whole Spino plot in Jurassic World 3. Even though I think a lot of people didn't like the Spino plot, I'm like, okay, sure, yeah, it is probably very inaccurate to what the Spino would have done, but it is what it is. And the reason I'm probably most excited is because we're getting my OG characters. Alan Grant's back, Ellie Sadler, Ian Malcolm's back. I'm much more excited for probably Ian Malcolm than I am for Claire. I don't think Claire is back, actually. I've only watched the trailer once. I might watch it again later. I don't remember seeing Claire among the the new generation cast. We had definitely had Owen, and we had a bunch of Owen's got a new posse he's running around with. Like the girl, I presume that's the girl that was the clone, and the black lady. She seems like an expert. I'm like, cool. Have the new cast with the old class. I don't remember seeing Claire, which for whatever reason that she's not there. I hope it's not because she didn't want to be there, because that would be sad. Because I did enjoy Claire. I did think she was a good, interesting, okay character. I mean, she wasn't my favorite, but I didn't by any means hate her. So yeah, if she's there, it'd be nice. If she's not, okay. Hopefully, it's not too detrimental to the plan, or we might just get a throwaway line. Or I hope they don't do something stupid and say so. Oh, she got eaten. It's like, oh, just off camera. I'm like, okay. What I'm really hoping for, what I think we're going to get, and what I hope we don't get, is a Luke Skywalker treatment to my favorite characters. I hope they don't disrespect Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm, and Ellie Sattler, and just destroy the characters what they are. And from what we've seen from the trailers, it doesn't really look like it. At least not much. I'm a little bit scared for Alan Grant, because I think as it stands, Jurassic Park 3 isn't actually canon to the whole Jurassic franchise. And I really liked Alan Grant in Jurassic Park 3. He seemed really appropriate. He seemed logical for what his character was. He wasn't, he was a dinosaur expert, even though he's a paleontologist, and it makes no sense that he would actually know anything about living dinosaurs. But based on his experience from Jurassic Park, and yeah, he came off a lot more excited. And obviously, if Jurassic Park 3 was canon, he wouldn't be. He would be like, dinosaurs again? I'm out. Find some remote island and maybe, But again, like you said, in order to get the premise I want, there's going to be stupid reasons in order to get these people back into dealing with dinosaurs. And if, in order to get Alan Grant back, if we had to, ignore Jurassic Park 3, I'm happy with that. We can ignore the premise of Jurassic Park 3 in order to get, my favorite characters back. As long as they're not destroyed in the process of getting them back. If they make Alan, I don't know how they would do it to destroy him, but if they did destroy him in the process, I would be quite happy. And that's where I'm a little bit scared and skeptical, and is yeah, like we don't really see much. We see Ellie Sattler talking to him, asking him if he's coming back, and he says he's always back or something along those lines. And we see, then we see the Ian gets his little quip about why do they always make them bigger, and I found that that was humorous. And then I'm just trying to go off my basic memory. From what these are just first initial thoughts from watching that trailer, because I'll probably go back and watch it, and I might have more opinions later. And yeah, I am excited. Like I told my friend, who is a big Star Wars friend, that I really like busting his balls when it comes to Star Wars stuff, and how Disney decided to treat the whole Star Wars movies and where it is in this franchise. And he could do the same thing to me with Jurassic Park, the Jurassic franchise, because like I said, it's my Star Wars feeling there. Like if they could make the movie shit at this point onwards, and I would probably still always consider myself a fan and enjoy them, and probably keep going to go see them. Like it would take a lot for me to not enjoy them. And yeah, that's pretty much all I really have to say about that, and my hopes for what we're going to get. What I think we're going to get is, I think, in all honesty, it's going to be a subpar movie. Like, objectively, it might be very subpar to be bad. I'm hoping that it's going to be a sort of a Jurassic Park 3 situation where, I'm going to really enjoy it. I don't really know how, because rather than them going back to the island, it's sort of like they're outside of the island. Now it's more like... It reminds me of Dinotopia. Like, humans are now trying to deal with a world it's that has a dichotomy between humans and dinosaurs. And if I wanted that premise, then I would have watched. I'll go back to Dinotopia or remake Dinotopia. Instead, we got Jurassic Park. That's not a park, and the literal world, which is, I guess, is where they were going. I just feel like the second movie in this trilogy was really weak in trying to establish that as a as a reason. Like, I'm sure we could have established a world of dinosaurs a lot more logically and better. I'm gonna be snippy and grumpy about that Fallen Kingdom for a long time. But yeah. Um, the other things I can say is it took me a while, but I finally got around to read the books. Read the book, which I really enjoyed, and then I read the second one, and I really enjoyed that, which is really odd because I'm not a fan of the Lost World, but the second book, which obviously I think because I'm not an expert in any of these matters or subjects, I'm just going off the cuff of what I think I know. I'm pretty sure that obviously Jurassic Park was based off the book, and then Stephen asked for a second book to make the second movie. But the second movie, I think the second movie came first, or the book. No, I think the second book was based off the movie. So they can make obviously this another movie, and that's where they went through. And I like the second book a lot more. I like, especially a lot more. I like the first book the most, but I like the second book a lot more than I like the second movie. For one, they never leave the island. I mean, obviously they do get away from the island, but I mean they never take the dinosaurs off the island. Everything that happens in the book takes place on the island, and I'm like, why didn't they just do that in the second movie? They didn't. Instead, we took a T-Rex to Manhattan. It's not Manhattan. I'm thinking of like Godzilla or something. They just took the T-Rex to the main shore and let it run around and go drink some water out of a pool, and it felt like two different movies, and that's what Fallen Kingdom felt like, is two different movies, and yeah. So I just don't know where. Like, I'm really hoping and trying to be really excited for Dominion, but I'm also very skeptical, and because given the current stages of the movies that we get, it could go either way. It could go up or down. Would I want a complete end to the Jurassic franchise after this? No, I don't think I would. Not unless they truly, really kill the idea, the premise, the franchise in Dominion. I don't know how. Maybe make all the dinosaurs sentient, where they can start talking, and you know what? That could be an idea. Evolve it so that this is the prequel to Dinotopia, where it turns out, we start, we live alongside dinosaurs and they can start talking, or something like that. Please don't do that. That was a joke. I really don't want that to happen. I just want another movie where people get stuck on an island with dinosaurs and they have to get out of that situation. Can we just get another one of those? It doesn't even have to be a Jurassic Park movie. Although the theme park idea is fun. Like, have we tried to build another... Like, I understand the concept of keep trying to build theme parks with dinosaurs is stupid and it never works out. But if we just got, like, 10 of those, one after another, of that's just that premise, and just watching people like, let's build another theme park. Oh, no, they're out again. I think I would be a lot more happy with that than what I think we're going to get. Or at least what we got and then what I think we're going to get. And yeah, that's just my thoughts on the whole Jurassic Park franchise. And thank you for listening to me. Just a quick little PSA at the end of this video. I just wanna. I know it's been a long time since I've bothered to make a video, but this was the first time in a long time that I've actually been motivated to make something. I'm hoping I'll be motivated to make something more in the future. But I'm not going to promise anything because I think that was my problem. Is I promised myself that I would do all the stuff and I just couldn't. So hopefully I'll continue in the future. See you all in the future. If not, please live good, happy, long lives and look after yourselves, especially in this current age with COVID and whatnot.